Joined by Mark Torres for some open singles action in the quarterfinals of the winner's bracket. It is Rick Dell over there on the left side. It's the veteran Joe Rhodes on the right, and Joe up 1-0 after that stuff here in game number one. Best 3 games out of 5, Mark, with the winner advancing to the semifinals.
Wow, man. So how about Rick Dell having an incredible run to get to this point? You got to beat a master to get here.
Yeah.
And I want to credit it to Rick Dell's participation in the Thunderdome event.
You think that's what it was?
I was everything.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about it. But
Rick Dell's a very good player.
He's solid, amazing. Pull shots, just a stud. And but Joe Rhodes is no joke. I just had dinner with Joe Rhodes' dad, Kent.
Oh, Kent.
He sat next to me at the bar.
Oh, he did.
And
okay. So you didn't invite him for dinner. You just happened to sit down. But we love Kent.
I sat in his lap, and he said this is inappropriate.
Yeah. And he would.
All right, folks,
right.
just a reminder.
But we are on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen, so I don't know if you knew that, Jim.
Hi everybody on Twitch, and of course at InsideFoos.com. Steve Murray, of course, does such a great job with this event each and every year. Then you see Rick Dell sliding it down the middle to make it 2-1. One thing you see down here, Mark, you see a lot of pull shooters, and it's a lot of fun. You know, you get out on tour, you work events, you see a lot of snake shots, but then you come down here to Texas, and it's one pull shooter after another.
Yes. Rick, is he a Texas pull shooter?
I believe Rick's from Georgia, I want to say, or from the South. Yeah. But he is a pull shooter, and Joe Rhodes is generally a pull shooter, although shooting the snake on that last effort. He now leads 3-1 here in game number 1. Here's Rick Dell. Remember Rick, several years ago, 5-6 years ago, was in the finals at the Tornado World Championships in pro singles, which is not an easy thing to do.
Was that Brandon Munoz who was playing at that event?
No, it was pre-Munoz.
Okay.
I don't remember quite who it was. But back down the middle comes Dell with a push kick to make it 3-2.
So let's talk about this for a second, because especially if you're new to foosball, this is your first time seeing it, or you're kind of exposed and you're like an amateur or beginner player who's watching.
Yeah.
These are not names you would typically assume to see at 5th and 6th place. Yeah. These are good pro players.
Especially in a field this deep.
In a massive field. Yeah. Joe Rhodes is a solid second-generation foosball player. Great skill. We've seen him in big matches before. Rick Dell, he's one of those pros that has all the pro skill and ability, but you don't really see him get here. To get here, they've had to beat a name, a seed to get here. So they're playing maybe a little at a higher level than they typically play, or they're putting everything together at this event. Either way, you're going to see some things that you're going to see them playing at a level that we don't typically see them playing. It's super cool.
Yeah, for sure. And playing consistently at that level is really what's difficult. So if Rick Dell can do it, match in and match out, he's got a chance to really make a name for himself here this weekend. Joe Rhodes shooting the snake shot now has given himself a 4-2 lead. Joe playing well. I think for the last 20 years of watching Joe Rhodes, I don't think I've ever seen him shoot anything but a pull shot. But here this weekend, here so far in this match, shooting a snake shot and shooting it well in again. There's Rhodes firing it home, and he wins game number 1.
Wouldn't that be interesting if that's the difference? That Joe was a 48% shooter with a pull shot and is a 54% shooter with a rollover, and that's the difference to get that extra point.
It very well could be.
I'll tell you a quick story. I just recently started shooting a rollover because I don't practice. So I played shot a rollover on a weekend event. And the advantages of shooting a rollover are ridiculous. So I've never shot a rollover. I played money matches in a John O'Brien Memorial event, and I won every match in almost every game. And let me tell you why. My pull shot out of practice was okay.
Yeah.
But when you hit the ball hard toward the goal almost every time,
anything could happen,
and you get the ball back repeatedly, and you angle the ball in at high velocity and speed, and the goalie can't recover the ball, you get a 5% at least.
That's a great point, and that is so true. It's always been one of the advantages of that shot. But it also tells me, Mark, that apparently your 5 was working pretty well.
Well, my 5 bar is actually not bad, and it's funny how well your 5 bar works when you're shooting well. Like you're shooting well, so all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is fun. I'm going to get the ball back.
That's a great point.
But you still had a great pull shot from Rick Dell.
Yeah, Rick went down the middle, scoring it off to give himself a 1-0 lead here in game number 2. 1-0 lead for Joe Rhodes.
We're going to start monitoring chat now, you guys. We want to see what you guys have to say.
Rhodes again, evening it up at 1. Joe playing with great confidence, shooting the snake shot.
Now, I don't actually know. Was Rick Dell at the Thunderdome?
I think he was,
Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah. I'm misspeaking on that.
And taken away here by Rhodes. Joe again. That shot
And that
near
was their
side.
dead bar. Now, dead bar is when the man is bumpers against the wall and you go around it.
Yeah.
It's a dead bar if you score, but he rimmed the corner of the goal and then it came out, which is a shot that's too good.
Yeah.
It just hits the corner and come out.
Here's Rhodes. Joe, a former national doubles champion, playing with Ryan Moore a few years ago in St. Louis. And you mentioned him being a second-generation player. Father Kent, of course, a stalwart on the Pro Tour for decades. Out of the Kansas City, Missouri area. Here's Rick Dell. Taking some time. And, of course, you see Rick with the two gloves. For the most part these days, players do not wear gloves. In the 1970s on the $1 Million Tour on tournament soccer, almost everybody wore a glove for grip. These days it's more about the wraps, as you see Joe Rhodes on the right side having wrapped his handles, but Dell kind of old school using the gloves.
You get used to what you're used to. We would see Frederic,
The greatest player of all time,
the great Frederic Collignon out of Belgium,
wearing gloves.
the greatest player of all time on any table anywhere,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
And if you're new to the foosball, there are multiple foosball tables around the world, and they have different styles of play.
Yeah.
And this is the predominant table in the United States, the Tornado table soccer, foosball table.
Here's Rhodes. Again, Dell is there. Then the rebound slammed in by Joe. Quick reflexes from Rhodes leads to a 2-1 lead here in game number 2.
He's got a De Niro smile on his face, like a crap-eating grin on his face. Like he's feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, Joe playing with great confidence. And, you know, there would be times with the pull shot, and again, Joe has shot the pull shot for 20, 25 years, but where he would not feel it. He just wouldn't be able to really be successful with that pull shot. But here, shooting the snake shot so far, so good for Joe, and he's up 3-1 here in the second. And a timeout called by Rick Dell.
63 and over doubles, Chris Kessler and Rick Russell.
Mike Burns says everyone watching knows what dead bar means, Mark. Unfortunately, Mike, we don't always know who everyone is watching, and so if we get a person who's new to foosball, we have a kind of responsibility to articulate what that could mean and keep them watching, so it's not just a lot of lingo that they're not familiar with. Twitch is a exciting platform to introduce foosball.
It is, and you get a lot of new viewership kind of passing through and hopefully sticking around to watch. Here's Dell taking his time, trying to come down the middle. Joe is there to block it and take it away. Again, Rick Dell jokes that straight home here to make it 3-2.
So Rick Dell was not at Thunderdome.
He was not.
It was another tall, thin guy with a great pull shot. I'm sure the Florida people will correct me, because Rick's a pro. That's right. There was a no pro event. Off the wall lane pass. It's all going because he was on the lane and still went.
And Joe shot up into the air and off the table after the block by Dell, who will put it back into play at goal. Jim Stevens, Mark Torres, bringing you all the action from one of the great events in the world of table soccer, the 2022 Texas State Championship.
What I always liked about Joe Rhodes' game is it's a scrappy game. It's never been the prettiest game.
No.
Never, and I love that. It's never been focused on aesthetics. It's always been what's functional, what's going to work, and adding a rollover could be a lethal addition. I want to see how it holds up if he gets past this match. We'll see how it holds up against other master level defenses that can find a tell.
That's
or figure
exactly
out
the thought I had as well, whether he has been shooting it long enough to have developed a consistent approach against those top players. But so far so good here in this match. He's up a game, up 3-2 here in game number 2. And that one backed into his own goal. It's 3-3. Saturday night at the Texas State Championships, lots of energy in this room. Open singles underway, always one of the great events. Of course, last year, Mark, you remember what a great performance by Tommy Yore, who double-dipped Tony Spreadman to win the title.
And I don't think he's playing singles.
Not playing singles.
Yeah.
Played mixed, that was it.
Yeah, and I think he may be playing open doubles with Mike Genton. I'm
you
not
think
sure.
so?
I think he may be, but there's a very low expectation. He has to leave at some point because of work, school-related work.
Yep.
And so he may end up doing a thing where they could get into the elimination bracket and he'll have to leave, which, hey.
That's right, because open doubles is Swiss system,
That's
isn't
right.
it? Yeah. 3 in a row from Dell. He's now up 4-3 here in the second game. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch that format for the first time ever at a major championship here in the USA. Left hook by Rhodes. We're even at 4.
So Luke Watson is saying he wants to see my rollover. I played, so Brian King, the great old pro from Reno,
Sure.
he hasn't played a foosball tournament in 16 years.
Yeah.
And he asked me to play pro doubles, and he said low expectations. I told him, dude, I might have to drop out at any point. We won 2 matches and lost 2 matches. And the first match we won against Corey Taylor and Matt Weber.
Were you shooting a rollover?
I was shooting a rollover the whole time.
The whole time.
And we beat Craig and Craig Simpson and Daphne Leggett.
Yeah.
We lost to a team we probably shouldn't have lost to, match ball, in the winners bracket, and then we lost to we lost to teams that were better than us.
But shooting a rollover.
Shooting a rollover.
Right.
And boy, that thing is a thing of beauty when it's heading at an angle toward the goal at high speed that you have no idea where it's going. No one knows where it's going.
Yes.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun that way. But, I missed my pull shot at some point. So I set up for a pull shot, and I put it into a rollover position, and that's how I shoot it. But every once in a while, I shot a reverse kind of thing. But I didn't really shoot my pull shot at all.
But you did say you were having fun shooting a rollover.
My rollover sucks, though, Jim.
It sucks.
My rollover totally sucks. Let me tell you what. I could barely set that thing up. It was a stressful exercise because I don't know how to set it up.
Yeah.
So I could barely. I shot that thing twice in the last 10 days for the first time ever. So, but rollover is easy mode.
There's a debate in there somewhere about the rollover for sure, and there's evidence that we have just compiled based on your experience with it.
Well, look, man, if you're used to shooting a pull shot, you're used to shooting maybe 45%, and some percentage of that it's not on goal because you misexecute. So you don't know how many great pull shooters shoot a long pull shot, and it goes long.
And that
or
one
comes
up
back.
the table off a man and in from Dell. We're even at 1 game apiece. No, that's a good point, and it's always been one of the strengths of the shot is everything is on goal.
Yeah.
Of course, you get a lot of rebounds.
There's no wear and tear on the shoulder, and guess what else happens when you shoot a pull shot or any wrist shot? There's a lot of micro muscle happening. There's a lot of micro muscle transactions happening. There's a lot of muscles you use, and then when under duress, guess what? It gets more difficult to execute that stuff.
For sure.
But guess what happens when you flip a rod over? You take a lot of that out of there. You
Yeah.
take a lot of the exercise out of there.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look at the
Yeah,
chat here.
see what the folks are saying. 1 game apiece. It's Rick Dell on the left. It's Joe Rhodes on the right.
So Dakota Table Soccer, y'all tend to leave Rhodes out of the conversation a lot, but he's a really great player and good enough to win it all in the event. Don't know why, but it seems like him and Shaw rarely place as high as they should be placing. My response to that, Dakota Table Soccer, is that there's about 300 people that have the skill and ability to win any event, and the same handful of people do, and it's because of attention to detail and execution under pressure that differentiates. I personally know 100 people that had the skill ability. You probably know 1,000 people that could have won any event at any time, and a lot of people get close. A lot of people get fifth, fourth, third. How many second place finishers do we know that never won? And it's because of the execution under pressure.
For sure. Agree with all of that. However, let's not also minimize Joe Rhodes, a guy who
Amazing.
has been around, great player. Whether he can win it all remains to be seen. He has not yet in his career won a major championship in open singles, but certainly a guy who has the mindset and the quality of game to compete at the highest level. And nothing but great respect for Joe,
Amazing.
who we know very well.
And I love his game.
Rick Dell hammering home the pull shot to make it 1-1.
I love Joe Rhodes' game. It's a really fun game to watch. My favorite type of style of play, which is a gritty kind of grind you down and take what you can get, almost like a much less consistent version of Tommy Atkinson. But it's a credit to the competition he's playing against, and maybe more work he needs to do to get into the finals more often. And
I do recall him reaching a final a few years ago at the Nebraska State Championships with Chris Valentine. Did finish second to a team of Joe Hamilton and Jim Stevens in the open doubles final.
Congratulations, Jim.
Thanks, man.
A little self-plug there never hurts anybody.
Absolutely. Why not?
That's good. I mean, my name in the chat is 1990 amateur doubles world champion.
It is, yes. And I did score 7 in the finals from
I don't
gold,
believe
by the way.
that. 7 in 2 matches, or in 1 game.
And 1, 3 out of 5.
He sold 7. How many were clean? Not that it matters.
All of them.
7 clean shots.
7 clean shots.
Well,
watch the video. It's commentated as well.
So I think there's a question mark about Joe Rhodes' zone defense if you scored 7, because you've never even scored 2 on me.
That second straight year I had scored 7 in the finals there.
Really?
Maybe
you're good at
There's
foosball.
playing pickup games with you, and then there's actually competing
I
in
say
open
the same
events.
thing all the time.
And Joe Hamilton played great. He's a great player. Of course, Joe, a former World Championship finalist and a member of the Great Britain World Cup team. 2-1 lead for Joe Rhodes here in game number 3. It's open singles quarterfinal in the winners bracket.
Amazing. It's very, very high up in a massive field. I think there's over 100 people in open singles.
And including some huge names.
Yeah. Like, where's Trevor Park? Where's maybe Brandon Moreland's on the other side, or maybe one of these guys beat Brandon Moreland. Where's Tony? Where's Todd?
3-1 lead for Rhodes now.
On table number 41. Table number 41, Chris Romero and Thomas Whistler.
But I love to see good pro players battling it out in locations you typically see the same names over and over.
Yeah.
Getting Rick Dell and Joe Rhodes here is a treat for a quarterfinal match.
It is, and considering the field, for Rick Dell to be there, I mean, even for Joe Rhodes, he's been in a few quarterfinals, of course, in singles, but Rick Dell in this field?
Yeah.
I'm going to look here at the open singles event. In the quarterfinals right now, we've got Sprademan, Lafredo, and Tony beat Todd in that quarterfinal.
Oh,
now Tony is in the semis.
Yeah.
Rhodes and Dell. So the winner of this would face Tony Sprademan. Shannon Coley in the quarterfinals, along with Tracy McMillan and Brandon Munoz. Munoz beat McMillan to advance to the semis.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who Shannon Coley has got coming after him. So it's shaping up to be one or two usual suspects between Brandon and Tony Sprademan.
Yeah.
And then some pros you may not typically expect.
And again, it's looking like a potential showdown in that winner's bracket final between Brandon Munoz and Tony Sprademan, and that's becoming more common. I think Munoz really starting to be consistent in open singles, and such a lot of fun to watch. Maybe the
High
most
energy,
exciting
for sure.
young player in the game.
The biggest accolade, if you want to call it that, what is it? Recognition I've heard about the Costa Rican players that differentiates Brandon and Kevin, or more so Brandon, frankly, is that you got to play. They play ball one like it's match ball, and Brandon specifically is hammering the ball like it's match ball from ball one.
I think Brandon has separated himself from Kevin a little bit. I think Brandon is a player who is evolving, who is growing, who is getting better, whereas I think Kevin maybe has plateaued a little bit. But right now, Brandon Munoz, certainly in singles, seems to me a top 3 player.
And we're talking about players from Costa Rica that play on the American events.
No, beautiful
Kevin Romero.
shot. Rick Dell tucking it into that near corner to make it 3-2.
This is a really fun, high action foosball we're seeing here.
It is, and Rick Dell hanging in there. We're tied at 1 game apiece, 3-2 lead for Rhodes, who again will set it up and stroke it home far side. Joe does tend to kind of get it and go with it, far side, near side, straight. That'll work well here. We'll see how it works as he moves into the higher competition.
I haven't been too analytical about it, but it seems like he's been shooting all the holes roughly around the same time, but it's all the holes.
It is all the holes, and well executed as well. But timing, especially against the higher rated Pro Master players, factors in. You got to be able to vary your times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. A little more time here as he tried to come down the middle, then picks up the loose ball off that back wall. He'll set it up looking for a 2-1 lead. Once again, and he finds it. That's a nice pick as he faked it far side, came back down the middle.
The little tap push side. So we call it the push side and the pull side. Sets up the ball in the middle. If he pulls it towards himself and flips the rod over, that's a pull side. If he pushes it and hits it, that's a push side. And what he did was he tapped it like he was going to go push, and then he went to the split. And that's a that's a kind of trademark Tony Spreadman, who was the first person to really walk the ball around.
He was, yeah. That was the kind of the guy that started with that tap middle type of approach. Joe Rhodes, though, looking really confident offensively.
If you're a subscriber at InsideFoods.com, you go to table number 2, you're seeing Tom Yor and Brandon Moreland battle it out in an intense match going on over there. Looks like Brandon Moreland has 2 games, and Tom Yor has 1 game. So it's 2 games to 1, and Brandon's winning 3-2. So you got a really great match with 2 formidable masters on table number 2 happening at InsideFoods.com.
Here on table number 1, it's now 2 games to 1 in favor of Joe Rhodes. Let's see how Rick Dell responds. It's been a pretty impressive performance from Rhodes. First time we've really ever seen him shooting the snake shot.
You could walk through any time, Jason. It's fine.
Fourth game underway. Dell putting it into play. Here's Rhodes. Joe playing with great confidence. There have been times where confidence has been an issue for Joe Rhodes, and I think some of that was his questioning of his pull shot. Well, the snake shot has been dynamic throughout the match.
Yeah, and I've not seen him shoot it before, and it could be that just he's on a roll with it, and he's shooting it really well, and here he is at 5th place.
I've seen him shoot it here and there as a supplemental shot, but not like he is here. This is now his number 1 shot, certainly in this match and maybe moving forward. But confidence is so much in foosball, and if you're feeling good, it really affects all parts of your game.
Wow. That was a nasty kind of spray split.
Even at 1 here in game number 4.
I like how Rick Dell, this view we have of the players is great because you can see the intensity. Rick Dell, you can tell he's no joking around, all business.
Up early this morning. 1-1 here in game number 4. Joe comes around the ball and fires it down the middle, picks up the rebound, and again, it's the confidence, it's the momentum. And Joe has been spectacular shooting the snake shot. It's 2-1.
He's going middle, he's going tap middle, he's going pull side, he's going push side. He's going everywhere.
And again, you can see how it affects the rest of his game. He's picking up loose balls. The 5 is good. He's got a little extra energy defensively. And the steal by Rhodes. He can't wait to get that ball and shoot the snake shot. He's feeling good. That shot attempt blocked by Dell off that outside wall, right back into Rhodes' goal. It's 2-2. Break there for Dell.
And I don't think Joe pulled the marker, but I'm pretty sure he's 2 games to 1 right now, correct?
It is 2 games to 1. That's correct.
Reset. You see the smile on Joe Rhodes' face. Rick had a hard reset on the 5 bar, and so Joe going to call a timeout. He's probably 1 degree away from getting an official, but you know he's scrappy. He's fine with it. He's a
yeah. He doesn't mind. Doesn't mind playing that kind of game.
Yeah.
He's a scrapper. He's a veteran. Right now, we're even at 2 here in this 4th game. As Rhodes will put it back into play. Looks like we have a final result over on table 2 as Brandon Moreland defeats Tom Yor. Rhodes again with that tap middle, faking far side, coming right back down the center of the goal to make it 3-2.
So I'm don't have a dog in the race. Obviously, I'm a commentator. I would love to see. I'm excited for whoever comes out of this. At the rate of execution and a sense of urgency and overall just play, you think that Joe might come out of this.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see if Joe does come out of this, if he could maintain this level of execution against the top masters on the 3 ball.
Yeah, he would go up against Tony Spreadman in the next match, and that's a whole different level of competition for sure.
You talk about nuanced defense. They will figure out his favorite side in 1 possession, and they will force him to do things he's not comfortable doing, because that's the level of mastery of these guys in the next round.
But even getting to that semifinals, I think for Rhodes at this stage of his career would be a minor victory, with certainly the possibility of him going farther.
Yeah.
But Joe feeling it, and he's looked confident. He has looked really good throughout the match as he turns it over.
The commentators, the commentators love memo.
Rick Dell with a big possession here as he looks to even it at 3 here in game number 4. Dell takes his time and calls timeout. Joe Rhodes leading 2-1, quarterfinal match in the winners bracket of open singles here at the 2022 Texas State Championship. Jim Stevens, Mark Torres, Ashley DeCitra, Adam Gilson wandering around here somewhere.
Craig Sager, Charles Barkley will be joining us later. Is that false advertisement?
It is, because Craig passed away a couple of years ago.
Forgot about that. Who's the Dodgers announcer?
And stroking it home here off the man is Dell to make it 3-3. Hey, you're talking about Vin Scully?
Vin Scully will be joining us later?
Yeah. He's still around.
Muhammad Ali?
He's like 94.
I got Craig Sager and Vin Scully confused.
Oh, that's amazing.
Considering the dress attire that we always...
Vin Scully, a top-notch play-by-play man. Craig Sager, a sideline reporter.
With beautiful
with great
attire.
Suits. Great suits.
Yes.
3-3 here in the 4th. You should, I think that would look good on you, like the purple pinstripes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be you.
Thong. Beautiful. It's hot.
Yeah. Craig Sager, known for his thong. As Rick Dell sets up the pull shot and finds that hole down the middle. So Dell now looking to extend this match to a 5th game. And give him credit. We've been focusing so much on Joe Rhodes these last couple of games.
Hopefully he can hear us. He's like, those Inside Foos guys are idiots.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
He's never been a fan.
Really? That's hilarious. You're making money off his likeness.
Rhodes, shot attempt down the middle, blocked and taken away by Dell, who can't hold on to it. It comes back to Rhodes on the 5. Joe tried to go through that high lane. Second effort does get it through. Joe sets it up and fires it back down the middle. That's his bread and butter.
This is the money ball.
It's match point for Joe Rhodes.
Money ball.
Rick Dell with the white gloves on the left. Joe Rhodes out of Kansas City, Missouri on the right. Dell will look to advance it. Hovers, almost has it stolen away, is able to get the left hand back there to contain it. Now steps back into offensive position.
So we all know that the tall guy has the advantage in tetherball and basketball.
Yeah.
Tetherball, where the tall guy wins. Remember in elementary school, the ball on the rope?
Yeah, true.
Tall guy wins.
Yeah.
But it's often overlooked how much of an advantage the tall guy has, especially in open singles.
Into that short corner again. Dell has even it 2 games apiece.
I was about to say, so the tall guy, and you're tall enough, you could see above the table in a certain way. You could see the holes a little better. You get more leverage. You get behind the ball a little better.
Yeah.
All that stuff happens.
Ryan Moore comes to mind.
The epitome of the tall guy, dominant tall guy. I mean, he's a monster on the table. It's kind of like a toy. What about Steve Biney?
Steve Biney?
Steve Biney's
Terry Moore was a tall, large man.
Yeah, and I talk a lot about getting behind the ball. So what I mean by that in foosball is there's a pinch position where the ball is further back, and the more the ball is back behind the rod, the more compression you get. Yeah. And so it helps with everything. Top spin, power, velocity, acceleration, everything happens. And the tall guy has the advantage there. Not to say that short guys can't, like look at Tommy Atkinson, right? Yeah. Brandon Munoz. But it's just easier for the tall guy. There are
exceptions to that rule, certainly. That even Lafredo, who isn't necessarily tall, but he's lean and maybe goes 6 feet.
He's tall enough. Yeah. He's tall enough for sure. But that guy is, my analogy for Lafredo is Michael Phelps. So Michael Phelps, they did a whole thing where they measured his body, and he's the perfect apex predator for swimming. Yeah, he's like Spider-Man. Yeah, for swimming.
With huge feet.
Yeah, and like a dolphin. Yeah. Tom Lafredo is that physical, like the perfect build for foosball. Yeah. Like everything, the thin muscle, everything, man. The fast twitch for his size, and so. But then you get guys like Ryan Moore who are an anomaly. He's like a 6'5" ballerina on the foosball table,
Yes,
right?
he is. Yeah, a modern athlete, a LeBron James, you know, has size, speed, fast twitch, all of that.
Yeah. Yes, these guys. Oh, yeah, Giannis.
Yeah.
So
Here we go. Fifth game underway. Joe Rhodes able to bounce it, pass it through. We'll set it up looking to strike first here in the fifth. Rhodes. Shot attempt blocked and taken away by Dell.
Luke Watson made a very important point. He said Tommy Brewer's short.
Yeah, he is.
And
great point.
You know, yeah, we know that better now than ever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm not sure Tommy knows that, but
he said, but at least I'm fat, which is an advantage.
Yeah.
Because when you're short and fat, you're like a Lord of the Rings character.
Very much so. Very
yes, the
much
fellowship,
so.
baby.
Yeah.
Here we
lovable.
go.
You're lovable and huggable and
angry.
And angry. Yeah.
So here we are, fifth game. In a nail, it's going to be a nail biter, right? You get the feeling it's going to go.
I don't often bite my nails, but in this case, I might.
I never bite. I've never bitten my nails.
Rhodes has that one blocked and taken away by Dell. No score here in the fifth, and Dell doing a good job defensively opening up this fifth and final game. He's looking at that short corner. He has been able to find it on two different occasions. Rhodes overplaying it, and instead he'll bring it down the middle.
We're going to see Rick Dale pull it off. And we spoke earlier, to get to this point, you got to beat some masters. You got to make some clutch points. You got to.
Yeah.
And his 2-bar has been very, very supportive of this match.
It has. That's at least 3, maybe 4 that he has scored. And as well as Joe Rhodes has played, and he has played well, he now finds himself down here in this fifth game.
Men's senior doubles, Richard Gurley and Brian Pellet plays.
Dell again.
And David Vick on table number 12.
I really love the phallic symbol.
And again, that short corner.
To it. I was going to speak to the phallus between us.
35 plays. Denise Fitch on table number 10.
Just don't do it. Big possession here for Rhodes. Joe. And it's taken away by Dell.
Wait, will you turn toward me and stick your tongue out?
I'm not going to even acknowledge what you're doing.
Turn toward me and stick your tongue out.
I will not do that. As much as you want me to, I will not. That's three from goal from Dell here in the fifth. Wow.
I wanted to say from the beginning, I thought Rick Dell was going to win this match. And look, it's coming to fruition from that 2-bar.
Now you're saying that at 3 when he's up 3-0 here in the fifth. This is the first we've heard that.
No, you weren't listening.
Big shot here from Rhodes to make it 3-1. This one not over yet.
I'm almost self-conscious that they can hear me talking smack. You think my voice tends to carry?
No, you're good.
All right.
No, even if you're not, who cares?
Fine.
So I would say Rick Dell should probably.
Jason Reese and Tom Burnell.
I was thinking that
Rick, after dark. Is it
I'm
after dark?
trying to focus on.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
I'm thinking Rick Dell has a possession here on the 3-rod, but might want to pass it back to that 2, where he has scored all 3 of his goals so far. Dell has that one blocked by Rhodes, and Joe able to capture the rebound.
Trying to focus. I'm not going to fall for the banana until
on table number 43. Table number 43, Marcus Copeland.
This is what I have to deal with, folks.
It's not even after dark yet.
Plays Gilbert Lopez on table number 36.
It is a little after 9. I think we go after dark after 10, right? Here's Dell. Stroking it home. It's match point for Rick Dell, who has come back after an outstanding performance by Rhodes. 3 from goal, 1 from the forward position, and now Dell just a goal away from the semifinals.
He took this match away from his 2-bar, and it just the zone splitting, the zone breaking push shot. And just like that, Joe's not scoring at the frequency he was on the 3-bar. So
really surprising. You felt like Joe was the better player the first 3 or 4 games of the match.
Yeah, he was 2-1 lead, right?
And now down 4-1 here in the fifth. Dell trying to bring that one down the middle. Rhodes trying to come back 1 ball at a time. Looking to cut the lead to 2 here. And he does. Had a lot of success during the course of this match down the middle.
Can't count Joe out yet. You don't want to count anybody out.
4-2.
Not playing at this level.
He's going to need to play some defense. And Dell able to pass it through with a chance to win the match. From pull shot position, Rick Dell. We'll call timeout.
All of a sudden the heat's on. Temperature's getting higher. You could tell Joe Rhodes feeling it a little bit.
All right, women's singles is in the mix. 2 out of 3 winners.
Rick Dell will touch 3 men to put the ball back into play, and again look to advance to the semifinals of open singles. Dell. Reset, and then stroking it home. Rick Dell, outstanding performance as he comes back to defeat Joe Rhodes in this quarterfinal match. And Rick Dell advancing to the semifinals in open singles in the winner's bracket. I have to think this is his best singles performance ever in an open event at a major championship, as he impressively defeats Rhodes in 5 games.
And I want to really validate something you said. We had so much attention on Joe that we were just not paying attention to Rick scoring 1 or 2 a game from his 2-bar. Because he was kind of just hanging in there, and then explodes in that last match with 3 from the back.
3 in the 5th game from goal, 6 overall, I think, for the match for Rick Dell, as he pulls off a bit of an upset in this quarterfinal match and advances to the semifinals.
Yeah. So we are between matches on tables 1 and 2. I'm sure there's going to be a matchup really soon. I wonder if you and I need to jump down on table number 1 and show the Twitch viewers what a bad rollover and a slow push kick looks like.
Yeah, we could do that.
Let's go do that.
Expert singles. First recall for Bill Chance. Please report to table number 31. Men's senior doubles, Jamie Lindy's and Alexander Aviano plays Mike Jendu and Ronnie Joyner on table number 14. Table number 14, Jamie Lindy's and Alexander Aviano plays Mike Jendu and Ronnie Joyner. Women's doubles, Gina Murray and Isabel Stelly plays Alice Poe and Tammy Mattern.
I was going to go down there and play foosball with Jim, but Mike Archer showed up, and why not watch someone who knows how to play foosball? And so why don't we just sit up here and talk smack about Jim Stevens and Mike Archer. So if you don't know who Mike Archer is, he's truly one of the Texas greats. He's won this tournament, I think, 2 or 3 times. Part of his claim to fame is beating Federico 4 or 5 out of 6 times. A couple of times in singles. He hit Federico's number, but we had a great conversation with Mike at the last Foos Talk live podcast. And Mike has some interesting things to say that were really validating of a conversation we've been having about foosball and the ranking system. So at one point, Mike was the number 6 player in the world and had won multiple regional events, and he was ranked master. And if you listen to that Foos Talk Live broadcast, he'll tell you that he should have never been a master. Being ranked number 6 and beating Frederic 4 or so out of 6 times and winning Texas State championship doubles 2 or 3 times and being in the finals like 4 times and all kinds of success, and he'll tell you he should have never been a master, and the reason why is because he never won an open major. And that's something I've been championing for a long time, is that these titles are really, really paper thin. They don't mean anything if you don't win at the highest level. So it's great to hear Mike be an advocate for this idea that the foosball ranking system needs some work, and I think it's from the top to the bottom. We had a conversation earlier about what is a beginner. And I think the qualifications are too loose. I don't think a beginner is someone who has been playing for 20 years. So these are things that we should figure out, and I think there are ways to do that. Yeah, I see Tommy Brewer saying that's why pro events are so boring, Mark. All the good pros are masters now. They're not. And to Mike Archer's point and my point, and look, I'm as self-deprecating as anybody on this topic. I've been ranked pro for 30 years, and I got ranked pro by beating a bunch of masters and doing well in open events 30 years ago. And then, I won a couple of, I won pro doubles and whatever. Well, fine. But I don't think I should be a pro. And I think half the, Mike Archer, if you listen to the podcast, and Jim Stevens agreed, they think there's only 10 masters in the world, maybe, on Tornado. 10 masters. So all those guys that you're saying are all in open. They should all be playing the pro events still, and be playing those events until they win, and should be qualified as masters. I don't know. That's our opinion. I like Luke saying he'll back the Torres point system. My point system is really simple. There's no points. Let's get rid of points. So a beginner is someone who plays 2 events. You play 2 events, and you're now a rookie. And I don't have a strict idea of how you get from rookie to amateur. Those are criteria that we need to figure out. But maybe it's until you take 3rd or better in 5 rookie doubles events, you stay a rookie forever. Rookie in doubles. Until you take 3rd or better in 5 rookie singles events, you're a rookie forever. And who could fault you? And I think the intuitive thing is, if you played 20 events and you can't take 3rd or better in 5 of those events, you're not an amateur, or you're not the next tier, whatever that is. And I get really strict when it gets to expert. Like, we have so many horrible pros. I don't care. I'm just gonna say it. These guys are not pros, man. They're good experts that got to the next level by accumulation of points. I don't think you should be a pro until you've won expert events. So if you've won 5 expert doubles events, then you should be a pro. If you've won 5 expert singles events, then you should be a pro in singles. Otherwise, what was the point? You learned how to finish high a bunch of times. So this is a rant I've been going on for 2 years now. What are we watching? We're watching Mike Archer destroy Jim Stevens. Is that what's happening? They're keeping score, and Mike is just doing all the stuff he used to do in the 90s. And I didn't know he shot a rollover. Did I know that? His rollover is as horrible as mine. So we got some feedback here. Clay, I'll qualify that, but I believe he was, I'll qualify it. I believe he was clearly stating that he shouldn't be a master. And I think in that same broadcast he said he only thought there were 15 masters, maybe. And Jim got further defined and said there's only 10. So we could qualify that. Homestar GG, I think, is saying, in my opinion, rookie and amateur divisions are more representation of experience than skill. I'm sick and tired of people crying about people in amateur or rookie who are talented but haven't won anything. I got to think that through, but I think at the end of the day, there's experience and there's a successful experience. I think a representation of that is your placing. If I play rookie and amateur events for 5 years and I go out in 2 at every single event, I guess I would still be a rookie amateur. But let's say I go out in 5 in every event. I think I could get to the next level that way, which is pretty pathetic that you can graduate to another division by being mediocre. What is the point of that? Like, what other athletic endeavor promotes you for consistent mediocrity? Foosball has a history of promoting people for consistent mediocrity. Like, okay, I mean, I don't mind being the perfect example of this. granted, it was the 90s, and I was taking ninth in major events in open doubles when there was hundreds and hundreds of teams, which is probably equivalency in some ways to doing. I mean, now you could win 3 matches, right? I did this like in 2017. I won like 3 matches, and then I was like playing for 5th in open doubles. And I think I got points for that. This is so ridiculous. But anyway, there is something to be said about successful winning, or successful even. And that's why my qualification is lower for amateur and rookie. Where I have a hard stop as expert. I think you should be an expert forever. If you can't win at the expert level, what is the point? Like, if you can't win at the expert level, why the hell why should we ever call you a pro? And just look around at all the pros that have never won anything. And they never won anything as an expert either. Florida man rules, 10 Masters and 7 on their floor. That may be true. I got to do the math. Not Mike, though. Jim did say that. Not Mike, though. I think what Mike said, Clay, and I'll have to look. I'll have to re-listen to it. I think he said there was maybe 15 Masters, and he didn't count himself as one of them. And I could ask him, but we'll just qualify it. I think he was agreeable that. I mean, I don't know if. He probably should he have been ranked number 6 in the world? Maybe that was his argument too. Why was he ranked number 6? Just because you beat Federico in the second round of like Mike would beat Frederic in like the second or third round of open singles, and then like lose to Bobby Diaz, or so. Yeah, you could. Who cares if you could beat Federico all day long? Should you be a master if you could beat Federico, or should you have to be able to beat Federico and like Spirit? Because you could beat Frederic but lose to Spirit. Get in here, Adam Gilson. I'm just yapping, and guess what? I'm like dredging up all this. Hey, can you put us? Can you put our faces up? Can you put our heads up? Because I like to look at myself. So I'm reading the chat here. All algorithmic point systems would work just fine. Oh, I gotta read. Would work just fine to accurately rate players if most weren't. I'm going to assume that's a bleep word. And I'd be a pro who never won. And I'd be a pro who never won anything. Well, I'm pretty sure he doesn't count himself master now because he doesn't play. He was number 6 because he went deep often. Should not be a pro if he never won. So I'm going to. I'm going to unmute you, and I'm going to mute my. Oh God. You're live.
Why are you muting yourself? Sure, yeah. We're gonna be doing.
I'm gonna. So the whole shouldn't be bumped you until you win requirement. You'd only make like 6 people moving up per year. Maybe Clay, but I like an idea of a normal curve where there's mostly experts. I'm gonna ask Mike something real quick. Hey Mike, can I ask you a question? We're on Twitch.
Oh.
I might have no. I might have got confused. We're in chat right now on Twitch, and I didn't want to misrepresent what you said. The conversation now is when we were in the Foos Talk Live broadcast. I thought you meant that. I thought you said, and correct me, that you shouldn't have been a master because you didn't win anything. Yes. Okay. So Mike Archer's qualifying right now. He's saying that he shouldn't. I agree with you, by the way. You shouldn't have been a master because you didn't win anything. But I love you, dude. I love you. So Mike Archer's he just said he shouldn't have been a master because he didn't win anything. Yeah, Clay, maybe by that metric, but that's why I think I'm more strict on experts. I think a lot of people will get moved up, right, that are rookie and amateur, depending on which events qualify, if regional events qualify. But where I have a hard stop is experts. Like, I don't care if there's 4,000 experts. I don't care. That's what there should be, just like other sports. I would compare the expert division to Division I sports, where all those guys are experts, and very few of them make it to pro. So why not? Why shouldn't foosball be representative of that? Just have very few pros and all these experts competing at the expert level that can also play. It's not that they can't play in the open division. It's just we're being honest that they're not that good. I think that's a fair representation. Clay's talking about then. He shouldn't have been a master back then because he didn't win any open events. You want to talk, man? Put on your headset.
I'm forming relationships that are going to last a lifetime, Mark.
Mike, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Mike is a behemoth. It's like him, Ryan Moore, and Terry Moore.
All at once?
It's like bigger than life. But, hey, does someone need to go down there and play foosball right now?
I'm going to go play.
Go play Mike Archer. Let's watch Adam Gilson. Hey, Jim, let's watch Adam Gilson. Let's watch Adam Gilson play Mike Archer. Let's see who's yes. All right, let's play doubles. We're gonna play doubles down there. Unless you guys want me up here yapping. We're waiting for a match. They call the match. What is the match, by the way?
Tony and Rick Dell.
Oh, we got Tony Sprudeman and Rick Dell on table number 1. And I'm gonna go down there and play until they get there.
Everybody's showing up to watch, right? Ooh, oh no, come on. Same thing all the time. Yeah, that's why you were there. Ready? Yeah.
All right, folks, we're coming up on the open doubles deadline. If you have not partnered up for open doubles, sign up now.
My name badge got in the way.
Entries close at 10 for open doubles. One balls are our last event of this evening. That will also start starting around 10. So sign up for one ball. For those not familiar with one ball, the match is one ball. Whoever scores that ball advances.
Get out of here with your shit.
If the lower ranked person does get the first drop. So if a pro plays an amateur, the amateur does get that first drop. If you guys are both the same rank, amateur versus amateur, pro versus pro, master versus master, you flip it going as usual. And the winner walks away with a brand new table. The loser walks away with a hearty meal.
Whoa, shit. Good. So your team.
Men's senior doubles, John Davis and Lou York. Plays, Patrick Jellison and Donald Wilson. On table number 26. Table number 26, John Davis and Lou York. Plays, Patrick Jellison and Donald Wilson. Junior doubles, Wayne Stewart Ford and Kai Jensen. Plays, Aiden Chapa and Aaron Chavez. On table number 15. Table number 15, Wayne Stewart Ford and Kai Jensen. Plays, Aiden Chapa and Aaron Chavez. 63 and over doubles, Danny Lynch and Michael Hernandez. Plays, Brad Lesson and Steve Miller. On table number 16. Table number 16, Danny Lynch and Michael Hernandez. Plays, Brad Lesson and Steve Miller. Women's singles, Miranda Jackson. Plays, Hannah Smith. On table number 29. Table number 29, Miranda Jackson. Plays Hannah Smith. Only singles, Trevor Park. Plays Ryan Moore. On table number 4. Table number 4, Trevor Park. Plays Ryan Moore. Women's singles, Noelle Arcos. Plays Kimberly Villanueva. On table number 28. Table number 28, Noelle Arcos. Plays Kimberly Villanueva. Expert singles, Joe Sosa. Plays Nathan Penn. On table number 45. Table number 45, Joe Sosa. Plays Nathan Penn. Men's senior doubles, Ben Bradley and Donald Hankett. Plays Todd Lobrano and Darren Bowe. On table number 20. Table number 20, Ben Bradley and Donald Hankett. Plays Todd Lobrano and Darren Bowe.
Joan Kempner, table number 8, Joan Kempner. Steve Murray, Steve Murray.
Mixed doubles, Jason Wicks and Brittany McConnell. Plays Maggie Strong and Eric Hayward-Never. On table number 3. Table number 3, Jason Wicks and Brittany McConnell. Plays Maggie Strong and Eric Hayward-Never.
Table maintenance is Dave, please. Table maintenance is Dave. Need one more table maintenance guys to stage, please. Any of our many table maintenance guys. And one of you please come up here.
All my composers, come on. Family show.
63 and over doubles, Spirit Wallace and Steve Murray. Plays Stephen Corey and Michael Fox. On table number 11. Table number 11, Spirit Wallace and Steve Murray. Plays Stephen Corey and Michael Fox.
Mark, that was a bad. Yeah. Are we doing 2-ball now?
Expert singles, Dan Bennett. Plays Anthony Ortega. On table number 44. Table number 44, Dan Bennett. Plays Anthony Ortega. Junior doubles, Nathan Mendoza and Jaden Avery Reverse. Plays Jeremy Ibarra and Evan Chavez. On table number 13. Table number 13, Nathan Mendoza and Jaden Avery Reverse. Plays Jeremy Ibarra and Evan Chavez. Open singles, Daniel Reverse. Plays Kevin Romero. On table number 6. Table number 6, Daniel Reverse. Plays Kevin Romero. Expert singles, Oscar Ramirez. Plays Rick Pomeroy. On table number 50. Table number 50, Oscar Ramirez. Plays Rick Pomeroy. Expert singles, Shane Kuykendall. Plays Todd Huggins. On table number 42. Table number 42, Shane Kuykendall. Plays Todd Huggins. Expert singles, Kevin Freeman. Plays H.P. Perkins. On table number 37. Table number 37, Kevin Freeman. Plays H.P. Perkins. Expert singles, Lexi Gray. Plays Corey Trahan. On table number 27. Table number 27, Lexi Gray. Plays Corey Trahan. Expert singles, Chuck Lozano. Plays Joe Johnston. On table number 24. Table number 24, Chuck Lozano. Plays Joe Johnston. Expert singles, David Luca. Plays Dan Woods. On table number 23. Table number 23, David Luca. Plays Dan Woods. Expert singles, Brian Collin. Plays Stephen Jackonet. On table number 18. Table number 18, Brian Collin. Plays Stephen Jackonet.
Rick Dell coming off that big win over Joe Rhodes in the quarterfinals will have the first possession and the first goal of this semifinal match. Jim, Adam, and Mark, I think, here on table number 1 to bring you the action.
Check.
And Tony with an answer to make it 1-1. Now, Rick Dell coming off a big win over Joe Rhodes, but this is a whole other level of competition here for Rick. Of course, Tony Spredeman, multi-Texas state champion, multi-world champion, 8-time Tornado world champion. 9 world championships overall for Tony Spredeman in open singles. He also won one on the Leonhardt table a couple of years ago. But certainly, I think the greatest singles player in the history of Tornado Foosball.
I would agree with that.
Oh, hi, Adam.
Hello.
Hey,
And Mark.
hey guys. You can't disagree with that because he's got the titles to prove it.
Got 8 of them. Yeah.
Not much of an asterisk, I guess. Fred could have won that many. He could have, but he didn't.
Didn't?
Yeah.
No. I think 5 for Fred. 5.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But also, of course, during Fred's career,
Yeah.
he was going up against guys like Billy Pappas and, of course, Tony. A little later on, Ryan Moore, who beat him in a final.
And it's easy to forget that he was at the tail end, kind of like maybe the mid-tail end of Terry Moore and Johnny Horton and Tom Spear. So he was playing those guys, you know?
Yeah, in the last 20 years, though, in the last 20 years on the Tornado Tour, only 4 players have won singles championships. That's Frederick Collignon, Billy Pappas, Ryan Moore, and Tony Spredeman. That's it since Horton's win in 2001.
I'm going to sneak behind you here.
And Tony with a left hook. 2-2. You're in game number 1. Best 3 games out of 5. The winner would advance to the winner's bracket final.
And folks, we're trying out something new here. You can see on your
You
screen.
can see on your screen there.
Yeah, I got.
Can we all fit in here?
Yeah,
Let's
we
see.
can.
Yeah, we got it.
Look at that.
Yeah,
We
you
can do
could-
it.
So right there, that's not an illusion. That's the game score. Brought to you by Foos Gadgets. There's the side of my head.
Brought to you by Dallas-Fort Worth Phallus Industries. Is it after dark?
That's
Nope.
Dallas. That's
No.
not Fort Worth.
That's yes. So it is. But as you can see, it is tied up 2-2 here, and that Foos Gadgets. That's an automatic scoring happening.
Automatic. That's
Automatic.
No kidding.
Yeah. There are sensors in there.
That is how you spell it. Sensors. Very
Sensors.
good. Yep.
Sensors. Ooh, cool. Automatic scoring.
Yeah. And this thing you can see here. You probably can't see it very well, but this is the interface that you would use. This is what was attached to the tables.
This is Foos Gadgets.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Adam, we can't see your beautiful locks of hair.
Yeah. Adam has hair.
I have hair.
I think you should let it down, man.
We'll see how the evening goes. It's early yet.
2-2 here in the first game. Tony will set it up, shooting against Rick Dell.
This reminds me of the old
And fire it home to make it 3-2.
phone booth stuffing.
Tony Spredeman, of course, we talked about his prowess as a singles player, and that is because Tony simply plays every ball. He plays every ball hard, doesn't matter who he's going up against, whether it's Ryan Moore, whether it's Rick Dell, whether it's Sister Bertrill.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It could be a bar stool.
Yeah.
It could be whatever.
It's now 4-2.
He's there to win.
We're trying to prevent the Tower of Pisa from leaning any further.
This is a catastrophe.
Thank you for taking us off screen, Ashley. 4-2 lead for Tony here in game number 1.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tony trying to bank it off that
We're
outside
okay.
wall with a 5, and again, and Dell there with the rebound. Rick needs to just play his game, do his thing, see if he can pick up 1 or 2 from goal, execute on that 3-rod with a pull shot, stay consistent offensively on the 5. Just play some good solid singles foosball if he can. That one knocked back into the goal by Dell to make it 4-3.
Table number 30, John Pope and Kelly Larson. Plays. All Buchanan and Don Glancy. Rookie doubles, Chris Romero and Thomas Whistle. Plays.
Here's Tony using the left hand. Passing to the 5. 5 to the 3. Now looking to go 3 to the back of the goal as he works it up the table and looks for a first game win. Spreadman. Got to come near side. Dealt with a takeaway and a nice grab on the rebound. So on that previous match, Rick Dell scoring probably 5-6 goals from the 2-rod, including 3 in the 5th and final game against Joe Rhodes. Without those goals from the 2-rod, I'm not sure he wins that match.
I agree with you, Jim. I think his 2-bar carried him that match.
Mark and I had to duck out there for a Benny Hill skit. But we're back.
And Tony will call timeout. I'd like to hear from any of you watching on Twitch if you know who Benny Hill is.
And if you don't, you can watch the replay as we put the theme song to it.
4-3 lead here in game number 1 in favor of Tony Spreadman.
On table number 2. Table number 2, Michael Stahl plays Terry Root. Men's senior doubles, Randy Cross.
Spreadman fires it home, far side. It's 1-0. Thing about it with Tony Spreadman, you have to play a perfect game. You cannot make mistakes. You can't give him any extra goals, any extra possessions. You simply can't and have a chance to win. And you can even play the greatest match of your career and still not beat Tony in singles. That's how great of a player he is.
I've had the fortunate opportunity to defend against Tony a couple times.
Yeah.
And I will tell you what, it's one thing to watch it, and there's another thing to be in front of it. And granted, I learned a lot from him shooting on me. One of the things that Tony does that's unique, some guys time holes, and I've had this. I talked about this for years before I actually played him. I never. Maybe I did play him in the Ironman Invitational in 2003 or 4, but he's like a program shooter. He shoots like on a code. He shoots on behaviors that he creates. He gets you to do certain things. It's different than someone who times holes.
Yeah.
And so he's
proactive. He's the one who is creating the opening and sort of waiting and timing an opening.
And it's almost like, I mean, you can look at the guy and, he loves his metal music and he's kind of out there and has this whole persona. But at the end of the day, he's got a system, a very organized methodology of shooting. And he doesn't really time holes as much as he creates openings with the system of movement he creates. And it's very, very intricate. There are dimensions to what he gets you to do. It's pretty brilliant. It's actually very, very brilliant to defend against.
It is, and I think the only other guy that we really can refer to doing that may be Frederick Colling.
Yes.
Yeah. Which,
now,
of course, he patterned after.
Yeah, and so Tommy Atkinson would say this, and he said it last night, actually. He's exactly to what you said, Jim. Fred and Tony have very similar patterns of attacking the goal, but he said what separated Federico is he also could time. He could just switch the gear and just time a hole. And Tommy would tell you that most people can't do both. They really have one strength or the other.
And there's Tony finding that near corner. Again, he creates that hole to the near corner to make it 1-1.
But think about how many other types of shots, the back pin maybe, or Fred's open-handed Euro pin allow you to dictate terms. A pull shot, you don't have movement on the ball. Push shot, push kick even, you can't really dictate terms on where the men are going to go. It's a different type of offense.
Yeah, and it's an art form that was created in Europe with the standard front pin shot, going back maybe as far back as the 50s, where these players playing in leagues around Europe would use that pin series, that standard pin series, moving around, walking around, fake, etc. And it's been going on in Europe for quite a long time, which is where Fred, of course, developed it, refined it once he came to the United States, realized he could utilize that European approach to American-style foosball. Still the only guy to really do it. But it is something that he has brought, that Tony adopted, a few others as well, at least to some degree. Ryan Moore maybe a little bit, Billy Pappas on their walking snake shots. Robert Atha, I think, was influenced by it as well, a guy who's played a lot of international table soccer. But we don't want to underestimate the history of European table soccer and the development of that European front pin.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, I don't know, I cannot be on the Foos Gadgets and the Twitch at the same time.
You can't do both?
I can't do both. So I don't know if you've got your Twitch out. You can see if there's people with questions.
Oh, that's
Table
right.
number 48, Bruce Wynn.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us here on this Saturday, late-ish.
Jeremy Ortega plays.
It's almost 10 o'clock. Does it feel later?
Yes.
Or after dark.
It's Wednesday.
It's inside food. It's after dark.
What? You got to give it 4 minutes.
2-2 here in the second game. Tony Sprademan won the first game. That's Rick Dell now on the left, and there's Tony with a left hand.
On table number 46.
All the dimensions of Tony Sprademan's singles game. There is no one else like him. No one else does all of this. Left-handed shots, 5-road shots.
He's an infinite onion, Jim. Keep peeling away layers. It never ends.
And he often makes his opponents cry.
Oh.
Expert singles. Tommy Millennium plays.
Tony again with a left hand.
Table number 36. Table number 36. Tommy Millennium plays. Dustin Owen.
Tony Sprademan, of course, will be competing for Team USA here in, I don't know, about 6 weeks.
About 6
5,
weeks.
6 weeks over in Nantes, France for the World Cup team.
And boy, does he not sound excited about it.
He's always excited about
Yeah.
playing internationally, no question about it. And this year in particular, really looking forward to the challenge of playing with a team that is going to be made up a little differently than usual.
Right.
In case you guys haven't heard, several of the top American stars, as Tony now has made it 4-2.
So you
Several
see,
of the top American stars are not going to be in attendance at the World Cup this
yeah,
year.
quite a few actually.
Yeah, right now we're looking at Tony, Terry Rue, and Todd Lafredo leading the American effort. I believe James Castillo, Serge Aragonis,
Yeah.
and a group of a few others.
There's someone else whose name I don't know who the name is. I've been trying to figure out. There's one more name, and Liz Hill couldn't remember it either. But there's a fifth person in there, or is it sixth? There's a sixth in there, and I don't know who it is. It's not Michael Stahl. I know that.
There's been talk of Ezekiel Iceman Moore, who has competed for Team USA previously. Mark, this is your chance.
I've got my headband.
You'd look good in red,
got
white,
my
blue.
headband right.
You would look good in a headband. Borrow Trevor's visor. If you put on Trevor's visor,
It's 2-0.
if you put on Trevor's visor and Blake's bandana, would that make you like Uber Mark?
Yes,
I would love to see that.
exactly.
Tony
100%.
Sprademan has come out to get the first 2 games of this semifinal in open singles. Again, the players will switch sides. But talking to Tony a little bit earlier, he was welcoming the challenge, getting some new energy in there. You know, with some players who have never played before, really appreciate the opportunity, won't take it for granted. And he still thinks they've got a pretty good shot at winning the title. So that'll be fun to watch.
He might. Yeah, I wouldn't know. You would know better than I do. Looking at the team, are these usually close? World Cup. They usually like. Dude, how often does the U.S. run away with the World Cup?
They have a few times.
Yeah. What was the last time?
Last time they were mildly challenged,
Okay.
but I don't think it was the result was never really in doubt.
Who are the when I look at a team event like that, you look at the cumulative team, and you get like someone like Billy, who's not going, who might ensure victory in certain ways, right? Who just shores it all up, right?
Tony, that bull kick. Yeah, I mean, when the Americans could field a team with Tony Sprademan, Ryan Moore, and Billy Pappas as the top 3, no other country can touch that, right?
Yeah.
That is super top heavy. And they'll still be a little top heavy with Rue and Lafredo joining Sprademan, but some of the other teams, of course, Luxembourg, Germany, among a few others that are really consistent throughout the lineup. Maybe they don't have that star power at the top, but they'll have 6 or 8 really solid players, and that's going to be the danger. And a lot of those guys are good multi-table players, play well on Tornado. So we'll see how it all goes in Nantes, France here in about 6 weeks.
You wonder if Rick can take a page out of Ryan Moore's book from his 2-bar and shoot that tuck 3/4 split pull shot and that first hole, which is how Ryan beat Tony in the World Championships, really shooting 2 holes, highly effective, high percentage, that break Tony's zone.
And Tony off the outside. Well, right now, Rick's just got to get possession of the ball because it's all Tony Sprademan. Tony seeming to have the ball 90% of the time during the course of this match. Here's Dell. But Rick Dell in the semifinals of open singles. Quite an accomplishment for this veteran player, pro player.
There is some conversation about Tony's memory recall, and you see him do certain things, like look, Riddell just did an angle down 5-bar pass, and you saw Tony like processing it, maybe filing it away in that memory bank so he knows what it looks like the next time Riddell tries to do it.
Tony went with a quick set, pull, kick, blocked, and then the slingshot off the outside wall. Tony freestyling here. He does lead 2-0.
Mark, do you have a memory bank?
Oh man, kinda. I don't know.
Does anybody have a memory bank anymore? Isn't that something like from the 60s science fiction?
Want to put that on some tape?
Film? Like, for example, Adam and I played pro doubles at a tour event, and I can remember specific scores, points, matches. I can remember certain key moments with detail. But not like, so someone like Federico can remember that from a ridiculously inane, non-consequential match like against me.
Yeah. And he knows your sock color.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the whole thing.
He knows how I smelt that day, which was probably like lavender, but whatever.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that crosses that box off.
You said probably. Were there other odors you used at that time?
I like to have this deodorant called Dark Instinct.
How apropos,
Super
Mark.
hot. Super hot. But, look, Tommy Atkinson, though, right? He remembers in vivid detail.
Yes.
Vivid detail. So some of these guys have incredible memory recall.
Do you need that, though, do you think? Like,
No.
No? I mean,
No, I
can
don't
you
think
think
you
of
need it.
Can you think of a player that doesn't have that kind of recall? It doesn't need to be didactic, but it's
Yes,
pretty
I can
good,
think of one
right?
immediately. Todd Lafredo can't remember major events he's won. Like after 78 Open Doubles Worlds, he barely remembers anything.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that's in the same thing.
Well, he's probably the most successful
Oh, yeah.
master, in his own right, his own level of success. And you know who does have the eidetic memory going on? Johnny Horton. So I talked to Johnny Horton, right, and I did this interview with him. He remembers a under-17 match against Thor Donovan in singles at some ridiculous little tournament. He remembers the detail.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just different.
Yeah.
3-1 lead for Tony Spredeman here in game number 3. Tony has been in control throughout against Dell as he looks to advance to the winner's bracket final of open singles.
Adam, I want you to look to your left and just stick your tongue out. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it for me.
No, hold on. I hurt my ankle falling off that turnip truck.
Look, Adam.
And Tony Spredeman now with a match point. Is able to rattle that one through.
This is a familiar position for you, Adam.
Wow.
I'm going to just act like I'm soloing this match and just...
That's Mark's next joke.
Match point for Tony Spredeman. We have a timeout here. He leads 4-1 here in the third game.
Danny Lynch.
Young man there's watching Tony.
Jesse Salinas plays.
Tony, of course, such a draw anywhere he goes.
The intensity on his face. I could never do that. Like if I had a 2-0 lead, 4-1.
Yeah.
I know what you do.
I'm going to give it back
You'd
up.
find the nearest carousel and just go find the unicorn.
And Dell finds the back of the goal here to make it 4-2.
But the big difference, obviously, is Tony's a true craftsman, a true professional. This is his job, and he treats it like his work.
Yep.
And so he's workmanlike.
Workman-like.
That's what I look like in an operating room, but I do not look like that in a foosball tournament, right?
Wow.
Dell sends that one up the table, is able to grab it on the 3-rod.
That's how I look at a
Back to
sizzler.
Mark. Let's take a look at the chat here.
Oh.
Dell will look to cut the lead to 1 as he sets up the pull shot. Takes his time and strokes it home. 2 in a row from Rick Dell. It's now 4-3.
No questions in chat. Feel free to ask us anything. Adam wants to tell you what his hair smells like.
Oh.
You're bailing, Adam.
There's just too many things. Wait a minute.
Jeremy Ortega. Please report to table number 4.
Match point for Tony.
There you go.
Dell with 2 in a row. Tried to come back with a push kick. Tony able to pick it up off the back wall. Spredeman, lane or wall?
Hard ball.
5-bar shot.
Hard ball.
Hard wall for the win. Spredeman looking to advance to the winner's bracket final.
So what he's a master at is he knows when the man is bobbing away from the hole, and he fakes you off that. And when he sees the man going away from the hole, which means they're most vulnerable, he hits that hole. And it's amazing to see him do it time and time again, over and over and over, as he gets blocked.
Dell slices that one on goal. Tony uses the left hand to retrieve it. Now dancing with it, passing along the outside wall, stepping into the forward position, sending it along that far wall, and now again we'll set it up looking for victory. Spredeman fires it home, and there it is. So in 3 straight games, Tony Spredeman defeats Rick Dell to advance to the winner's bracket final. And Tony again on track for yet another singles championship.
We're going to switch over to table number 2 so we can watch Terry Rue and Michael Stahl in a big open singles match.
Oh, yeah. What? Well, this is not set up, so how about I'm going to look and see what match that actually is.
I'm sure it's probably like 9th in the loser's bracket.
Terry Rue on the left, Michael Stahl on the right.
13 through 16.
It looks like the first game. 3-2 lead for Stahl.
Men's senior doubles, Randall Stelly and Chris Still plays Todd Lobredo and Darren Malone.
Stahl, of course, a player who is getting very, very, very focused on wanting to win. And he just keeps missing. He's knocking, he's missing. But he knows that, and it's interesting to talk to him, talk about his process.
Playing with Tommy Atkinson in open doubles, which I think should be great for him. Tommy, of course, knows how to win.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be good.
So Terry Rue on the left, great master out of Louisiana, and he's almost like a gatekeeper at this point. I mean, he's doubles, he's brilliant. Singles, he's gotten to a finals a couple times, right, Jim? He's been in some open singles. Did he win an open singles major? I don't think he has one.
He's won one going back to 2007 U.S. Open.
Nice. But when I mean gatekeeper, that's not a disparagement. You got to get past Terry Rue is what I mean to get to the next level. And Michael Stahl's trying to do that now.
And a big left hook there from Stahl to give Michael a 4-3 lead here in this first game, and we've got a timeout.
In video game parlance, he's called a DPS check.
The what?
DPS, damage per second.
Oh,
check.
Yeah,
This is to see if you're a gear check.
Yeah,
if
okay.
you're good.
Now, are we going to roll dice now, Dungeon Master?
I'm trying to have broad appeal, Mark. I'm
okay,
sorry.
no, Twitch is good for that.
Vision.
Twitch is good for that. Vision.
and Michael Stahl, a guy that's going to compete in every match he plays in. He's going to play these guys tough. It's just getting over the top. It's coming out on top of the match at the end. Against these top players, he has yet to really do.
And he is a second-generation foosball player, and we spoke earlier about all these guys that have all the ability, not unlike Joe Rhodes, right? He's got all the ability, all the upbringing and the fundamentals, and he's around the sport all the time. And that, at the end of the day, that takes you so far. It only takes you so far.
Yeah.
There's this whole other dimension that gets you past that point. At this point, we're starting to pick up a good book of second-generation foosers, and not all of them are champions, and not all of them will be. It's going to be a narrow group.
4-4 here in the first game after that big pull shot from Rue. And beautiful grab on that 3-rod by Stahl. Michael will set it up. Looking to win game number 1. We do recall last year at the National Championships in your debut event, these two played in singles. Michael played Terry tough.
That was a mistake. I don't know if he had any timeouts left, but he rushed that. He shot a long pull shot, got blocked, got it back, stubbed, and then shot like a push kick. And those are the types of decisions, like that's an example of the type of decision that you can regret because this happens. Now, what I do love about Michael Stahl, although he's not gotten over the hump yet, he's aggressive. And I'm a big fan of the guy who's aggressive, especially when the pressure's on. I like the aggression because you'd rather go down swinging than go down softly, like, oh, I'm going to just float this thing over the middle and then you get stuffed. We've seen that a million times. I like how he goes after it. In that particular scenario, probably the wrong direction for aggression to shoot a quick push kick.
Yep.
Yeah, it comes down to decision making, and again, it's one thing competing, it's another thing winning, and it is Terry Rue who closes the deal here in game number 1.
And Michael knows it. Michael knows better. He knows that the quick push kick was a blunder. Worst case scenario, if you get a timeout, he's really going to you wish he could take it back. If he
Yeah,
was
that's
out
the
of-
key. In that situation, you use your timeout. If you
Yeah.
have one, that's the time to use it. That is a valuable possession. You have to treat it as such.
But if he didn't have a timeout, the unfortunate thing is he wasn't at 15 seconds. So he stubbed his pull shot. He probably had 4 seconds left. You could shoot a quick rollover if you have to rush. Do something.
Here we go, second game underway. Stahl with the first possession. And stroking that one home to make it 1-0.
So this is his opportunity to take what he learned. I mean, I love game 3. No, it's loser side. It's 2 out of 3. That's it. This is it.
Yes, 2 out of 3.
He's got to make it all, everything that he learned there, concentrate down, distill it, do it now.
Can't
And
keep that one out of the goal as it sneaks in behind Stahl to make it 1-1. Terry Rue leading 1-0.
But I believe Michael's dedication and commitment to the sport, he is going to be a champion. I think it's a matter of time. He's
Yeah.
so focused and so dedicated to doing that, and that's the biggest differentiator, I think, your commitment to doing it. As long as he's willing to work hard, he'll get there.
And they just, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Well, I was just going to say, not only that, but what he's been doing for the game of foosball up there in the state. They just announced the dates for
Michigan State Championship.
Yeah, and that's the last weekend of September.
This match for 13th or better in the losers bracket. And again, testament to the quality of the field where you get two guys like this playing for 13th in a losers bracket.
Right.
Here's Rue. Terry tried to go inside, taken away by Stahl.
Move to table number 5. Open singles, Brandon Moreland plays Brandon Munoz on table number 1.
You know, 2 to the 5 has gotten so much visibility, and everyone's picked it up. Federico obviously commandeered that technique, and then Tony's brought it somewhere else. But you get a guy like Ryan and a guy like Billy, who unfortunately doesn't play as much. Those guys remind you that shooting out of the back can be a dangerous,
It
lethal
still
thing
can
if you're
be.
good at it.
Yep.
And so it'd be great to see people mix it up a little bit more with.
Yeah, we talked about that a little earlier. I mean, there are players, about 3 or 4 or 5 players who can get away with doing it all the time, but it's nice to have both. It's nice to have all of that in your toolbox and pick and choose and the times to use them.
26. Table number 26, Nathan.
And I think if, in line with what we spoke to earlier, Terry Moore brings the rollover into high-level competitive play, and then that's disrupted by the walking rollover that Tony Spreadman brings around. I think there's room for a 2 to the 5 series that's 50% shooting, or at least. Now, Tony does a great job, and he doesn't shoot anywhere near 50%. He probably, I don't know what the number of Clay, we need Clay for that. But someone who really integrated 2 to the 5 with precision shooting would be a next level dimension to that.
Yeah, and I think Tony is the closest we have to that, right? I mean, he is a guy, maybe the best there is at shooting with the left hand.
Right, agreed.
Michael Stahl trailing 2-1 here in the second game. We'll put it back into play.
And the parallel for that in doubles, I would love to see 2 to 5, 3 to the 5 passing in doubles.
In doubles,
So-
yeah.
And it's not anything new. Just nobody does it.
Few players, few teams do it here and there, and when they do it, it's generally successful.
Yeah, I was at Florida State, Trey Callahan and Jacob Balcos double dip Lane Blundell and his partner, I can't remember, which is a good team to be double dipping for a young team. And it was all that. It was 2 to the 5, 3 to the 5.
Some people have done it a little bit, but no one's really committed to it. Like, I think James Castillo and Sergi have a little 2 to the 5 pass back and forth kind of thing, but to really commit to that, you need a steady partner.
You do. You have to work on it. It's
Yeah.
something you do have to train and practice. And
'Cause remember,
be
when you
able to
shoot
do
on
it
that, when
consistently.
you shoot on that, you're shooting on what, 16 men or something? I don't know. Right? So if you're going to shoot that, your partner needs to know when to lift up your 5 bar.
Exactly. Or you got to find a really tight hole.
Right.
Stahl trying to pass with 3 straight blocks from Rue. Michael will now, again, use that left hand. Oh, Rue doing a great job defending and ends up with a possession on the 5. Wow. That was tremendous defensive play by Terry Rue against the 2 to the 5 of Michael Stahl. Rue will get a possession out of the deal.
Table number 14, 2 minutes. Let's go, Pat.
Rue. And the block here by Stahl. Rebound grab by Terry.
And if you have a subscription, you can see a familiar sight. It's Tom Yor practicing on table number 1 because he's a practice fiend.
Oh,
And
wow.
that quick push kick by Rue makes it 3-1.
Did they call up Brandon and Tony Spreadman on table number 1? Is that what happened?
Brandon and Brandon.
Oh, Brandon Moreland and Brandon Munoz?
Yep.
Okay.
In the other semifinal.
Oh, I forgot about that match.
So about sometime in the last possession or so, Michael just kind of let this train run by him. He's going to have to climb back into this, but he keeps doing this kind of thing, doing quick passes. Not anything with intent. Quick stuff is fine if there's intent, but it looks like he's flailing.
A little fortunate to get a possession here. Yeah, he is trying to come back all at once, and that is dangerous to do.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a time for the kitchen sink, but it has to be done. Everything for a reason.
We got a special treat for everybody. The next match, Brandon Munoz and Brandon Moreland. Tommy Yor Jr. wants to do commentary with that match, and so we'll exit and let Tommy Yor Jr. sit down next to Jim Stevens and do
that'll
some
be cool.
commentary.
Yeah. Had a chance to sit with him for a little bit, Florida State. Smart guy.
Yeah, and he beat Brandon Munoz at this event. Match ball, like, was it 10-9 or something
8-7.
crazy? 8-7.
Yeah, one of the best singles matches.
Oh,
last
was
year.
amazing.
Probably
Yeah.
the second. Well, okay, third.
But I think we're gonna end up going off Twitch for that match and going. If you want to see it, it'll probably be at InsideFoos.com. So if you want to hear Tommy Yor Jr. and Jim Stevens commentate Brandon Munoz versus Brandon Moreland on table number 1, go to InsideFoos.com and spend your $5. Okay, don't get that half a cup of Starbucks.
Seriously, it's a quarter of a cup now. They don't even get you sweetener.
And Terry now with a match point here on table number 2. And coming up on table 1, of course, the Battle of the Brandons.
Well, you know what? I think we're going to switch over.
And there it is.
We're going to switch over to table number 1, and Terry Rue, just like that, Terry Rue beats Michael Stahl. Michael Stahl, he's walking away right now, and I'm going to go give him a hug because he knows he lost that match in game 1 when he had a shot to. And I don't think his head's still swimming in there, but he's the best.
Yeah.
So we're going to switch over.
And I'm gonna step away too. I'm gonna get Tommy Yor in here.
Let's find Tommy Yor.
Where is Tommy Yor?
I just talked to him a second ago.
But there you see Brandon Moreland on the left, Brandon Munoz on the right, as they are about to prepare for their semifinal match. The winner of this one would face Tony Spreadman. And with Ryan Moore not really competing in singles these days, probably the 3 best singles players on the American Tour are Tony Spreadman and these 2 guys, Brandon Moreland and Brandon Munoz.
Yeah, and I would say there's an argument for Trevor Park when he's there, when he's present for it. He's had some okay finishes in the last this last year, but these 2 consistent.
Yeah,
that's all there is.
So this should be a lot of fun. Again, the winner of this will face Tony Spreadman in the winner's bracket final. Here comes Tommy Yor.
Okay, all right.
And thank you, Adam.
You betcha.
Hey, sign up for Twitch.
And again, I'd like to thank everybody for watching us live at Twitch over the last few hours. We're going to shut it down. We'll be back with you tomorrow at Twitch. But if you'd like to watch this one, Brandon versus Brandon, with me and Tommy Yor, who's just making his way up here to do some commentary, head over to InsideFoos.com for some more action from the 2022 Texas State Championships.